Straight ahead on 12 News, bracing for a winter storm, snow, and dangerous cold expected through Sunday. We get perspective from forecasters as well as doctors. Plus, why people who use Metro Transit could be looking at cutbacks or possible fare increases. And later, a Crystal couple's new twist on puzzle making.
It really appeals to those people that are looking for a little bit more challenge.
12 News starts right now.
Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Alexandra Renslow.
And I'm Mike Johnson. Mother Nature is bringing us a double dose of winter. Hennepin County emergency management officials are keeping a close eye on both the heavy dose of snow predicted for Friday and Saturday and the dangerous sub-zero temperatures expected this weekend.
These purples that are showing is between 8 and 10 inches over central Minnesota here.
Meteorologist Sarah Carroll is tracking the snow and cold to alert homeless shelters and other agencies about when the winter weather will have the highest impact. She says this is the first time this season that we've had the combined events of cold weather and large snowfall forecast, and then even colder weather to follow with wind chills of -35 or -40 Saturday night into Sunday.
But also make sure you have your car stocked. It doesn't take a whole lot, especially with the snow, to get stuck in the snow, and you really want to make sure you have mittens, an extra blanket, maybe some hand warmers. Those are really easy and cheap to throw in your car for your little survival kit.
And brutal wind chills this morning and a dose of extreme cold coming to the Twin Cities this weekend also has hospitals preparing for the worst.
And Delane Cleveland has more on what you can do to stay warm and, of course, prevent frostbite.
The dreaded polar vortex has descended upon the Twin Cities, forcing people to bundle up as the temperatures plummet. But doctors at Hennepin County Medical Center say not everyone has gotten the message.
Since about Saturday, really, we've started to see kind of a slow, steady trickle of frostbite patients coming in.
Frostbite is an injury caused by the freezing of the skin and underlying tissues.
Frostbite can fall into kind of the first, second, and third degree type of injury.
Dr. Ryan Fay is the medical director of HCMC's burn program, which is where people with severe frostbite would seek treatment.
Having the deepest part of the cold snap hit us on the weekend is worrisome.
With colder temperatures on the way, he expects to see more frostbite patients in the near future.
When we hit cold spells on the weekends, it does seem to be a time when we do see a significant uptick in the number of patients.
During a typical winter, they'd see between 25 to 30 frostbite patients. The good news is that frostbite is one of the most preventable injuries out there.
The things to do to mitigate that would be, number one, reduce exposure. So cover up, hat, gloves, boots, that sort of stuff.
The second thing would be to limit your time outdoors. The early symptoms of frostbite, known as frost nip, can develop after about 15 minutes of exposure.
The longer the exposure beyond that is directly proportional to the severity of the injury.
In a worst-case scenario, a person's hands or feet could be amputated, so covering your face isn't as important.
The nice thing about the head and neck is that it's got a very rich blood supply, so that's why we see more of our injuries on the hands and feet. It's further away from the core of the body.
Of course, the preference would be to protect all parts of your body in extreme cold. Doing so requires simple common sense.
We'll cover up. Wear hat, gloves, boots.
Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Doctors also recommend avoiding drugs and alcohol during the extreme cold. That's because people not only make poor decisions, but they don't feel the symptoms of frostbite.
Well, the bitter cold may be commanding our attention right now, but if you had flood damage from last September's record rainfall, there's a really important message.
That's right. Listen to this. You could be eligible for FEMA grants or a 1.5% low-interest federal loan for flood damage. A disaster recovery center is now open at the old Brooklyn Park Library on Zane Avenue, and experts from the federal government are there days, nights, and weekends to help you apply for assistance. It is worth stopping in, even if you've already paid for storm-related damages or you might have future expenses like removing mold.
FEMA will reimburse them. So we're encouraging people, please apply even though you've fixed everything, because they will reimburse you. So please apply if you had damage.
You can apply for help until January 30th. For more information, you can go online to disasterassistance.gov or just stop in and talk to the experts personally. That's at the former Brooklyn Park Library at 8600 Zane Avenue North.
The city of Plymouth has approved a budget for 2017, a budget that will include additions to its police and fire services. The budget includes a preliminary property tax levy increase of 4.9%. However, the average value home in Plymouth of $350,000 should expect to see a decrease in city taxes by $5. The levy increase will go toward a hiring of 6 full-time firefighters and providing additional police services for the growing northwest part of the city. The budget also includes converting the refrigerant system at the Plymouth Ice Center. The city projects to have the lowest tax rate of its peer communities, just ahead of Edina.
If you use Metro Transit, a budget shortfall could impact how much you pay. A Metropolitan Council spokesperson says it's too early to tell if an $89 million funding gap will lead to fare increases, service reductions, or impact projects like bus rapid transit on Brooklyn Boulevard. The problem is a tax on car sales, which pays for transit. It's not raising as much money as expected. For the last 4 years, the governor has pushed for a 1/2 cent sales tax for transit, but that's been done without success. Well, she is smart, athletic, and a champion of many causes.
Hopkins senior LaDeja Davis has a lot on her plate, but still manages to do extremely well in school. Reporter Sonia Goins has more on this week's Standout Student.
So let's turn to the second to the last page.
LaDeja Davis is right at home in Mr. Broughton's personal finance class.
A lot of people don't really understand math, but like I'm more of a numbers person. Like mental math is beautiful for me. It clicks.
0.
The honor roll student also likes physics. She prefers taking upper level courses.
I want to be like a representative for our community because we're kind of underrepresented in like those high academic classes and like in the National Honor Society or just like statistically. And I feel like it's important for me to like challenge those stereotypes.
Davis is also athletic. She plays outside and wing on the Hopkins rugby team.
I just like when you tackle somebody and they were bigger than you and you did it successfully and you didn't get hurt. That's like the best feeling ever.
Well-rounded is Davis's middle name. She also started a group called HHS Responds.
We're a culturally and racially diverse group of students who seek to make Hopkins High School a more inclusive environment through communication and action.
She not only cares about her own group of friends and her community, but she cares about all groups of students feeling like they belong at this school.
And somehow Davis finds time to work 2 jobs. She's a tutor and experienced coffee maker.
So I work at Starbucks like after school. I have like an early release, so it makes it easier. So I have time to like do homework.
What might make you change the number?
Time management and focusing in class are the keys to her success. She hopes to one day change the world.
So my goal really is to impact somehow like the recreation of Black Wall Street, the Black Wall Street in like 1920s.
Sonia Goins, 12 News.
LaDeja wants to study business or law in college, and so far she's been accepted at Hamlin and St. Thomas universities. Well, coming up, our Crystal couple comes up with a new twist on putting together puzzles.
And then a little bit later in sports, a balancing act that's going quite well so far this season for the Maple Grove Gymnastics team.
But first, that winter storm warning is in effect. Expect to see snow falling Friday afternoon into the night.
Welcome back. The city of Osseo is getting a new restaurant to its downtown. Red Savoy Pizza plans to open after the new year. It'll take the place of the former Copper Kettle restaurant on Central Avenue. The city council approved a liquor license for Red Savoy Pizza this week. A love of games has prompted a Crystal couple to come up with a unique twist on a favorite game.
Puzzle twist is like no puzzle you've ever put together before. Reporter Shannon Slatton explains why.
Every year we'd have at least 1 or 2 puzzles that we'd do over the holidays.
People who love puzzles know that putting together one is all about connecting.
Being together, it's family time.
But when Candace married Tony Nelson 10 years ago,
he was not a big fan of them. He's like, I don't get why you spend all this time and you know exactly what it's going to look like.
Wouldn't it be a little bit more fun if we had little surprises along the way? where we were discovering things while we were putting the puzzle together, and she really lit up.
And the idea for Puzzle Twist was born.
Really appeals to those people that are looking for a little bit more challenge. Now we're not trying to make our puzzles impossible, but at the same time that they embrace the idea of the surprise and they like that aha experience.
For example, if you put together this puzzle showing a whimsical picture of Canal Park in Duluth, you discover there are people running a race.
It's Grandma's Marathon, and that's that aha experience. It's like, oh, cool, they put Grandma's Marathon in the puzzle.
And that's just one of the more than 30 puzzles and numerous surprises the Nelsons have created with the help of local artists.
It's been fun. It's been really fun.
But it's been hard work too. The couple stores and ships products out of their garage. They sell puzzles at craft fairs and at specialty gift shops.
One of my favorite Minnesota companies.
Like Good Things in Maple Grove.
There's something for everyone. You got the beers, the cats, the dogs. Duluth, Minnesota, birds are popular. We got a lot of birds over here, and a couple of new ones. Cabin, and a really fun one too is the Winter Carnival buttons.
Jigsaw puzzles are a little bit more like a movie release. People do one, and then they're asking you, what's the next one? And it's kind of mushroom, so no, I didn't realize it was going to slowly take over my life.
But that's okay by the Nelsons, because Puzzle Twist is something that is the missing piece from store shelves and the right piece for them. In Crystal, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
Well, you can buy a puzzle from puzzletwist.com or find one locally at Good Things or at the Woods in Maple Grove. They go for about $20. Cool idea. Cool. Neat. Coming up, some soothing sounds to help take your mind off the winter weather.
But first, Park Center gets set for a big showdown with Maple Grove and boys hoops. Jay Wilcox has that and more coming up next in sports.
After winning just 8 games 2 years ago, the Park Center boys basketball team won 17 games last season, the first under head coach James Ware. Now the Pirates are 3-0 heading into a big test Friday night. The Pirates have started the season with wins over St. Louis Park, Columbia Heights, and Osseo. Park Center beat Heights in overtime last Friday and pulled away from Osseo in the second half on Tuesday to win. It's a good start for a team which features talented players who play well together.
It's everyone, from starters to the bench. Everyone's doing their job. Our coach has been teaching us how to do what we're supposed to do and doing it from the beginning to the end.
Although we feel good about the start, you know, the conference is so tough and there's so many tough games on our schedule. We just try to take it day by day, try to get better every day, focus on that. But we feel good about where we are to start.
The Pirates are now working on preparing to face 4th-ranked Maple Grove. The Crimson returned most of their state tournament team from a year ago and will present a big challenge for the Pirates. But it should be a charged atmosphere in what will be a home game for Park Center.
So I think our kids are definitely engaged, especially this week, especially knowing that we played Osseo, who beat us 3 times last year, Maple Grove, who beat us twice last year. You know, they're definitely engaged.
Everyone's excited. It's probably the biggest game so far we have versus Maple Grove, number 4 team in the state. So it make an impact.
You can see the Maple Grove Park Center game live on Channel 12 and our HD Channel 799 and on the web at 12.tv Friday at 7. Like Park Center's boys basketball team, the Maple Grove Gymnastics team is performing well early this season. They'll face 2 big rivals in the next 7 days. They're starting in a good spot with plenty of room to grow. The Maple Grove Gymnastics team has scored 135 or higher in all 3 competitions so far, topped by a 139.65 to win an invitational last weekend.
Yeah, we've had a fairly strong start, and what's really inspiring, I'd say, is just that we still have lots of room for improvement, and I see us improving a lot in the future.
I'm really excited. This is my first year of high school, so it's like a whole new experience for me, but it's been a lot of fun, and I mean, we've been winning, so that makes it more fun.
With some solid returning gymnasts and 8 new athletes in from club gymnastics, Maple Grove has the chance to be a very good squad. Winning the 10-team meet at Elk River last Saturday was a fun day.
The girls just went out and had a good time, and they just did what they needed to do and walked away with JV and varsity winning and 10 teams. So they were really excited, and I was really proud of them.
After facing rival Osseo Fridley Thursday night, the Crimson host likely their toughest foe of the regular season, Champlain Park, next Wednesday.
It's two rivalries, both Osseo and Champlain, so that'll be very exciting next 2 weeks.
Champlain's a really good team, and I think it's going to be a really great meet, and I think that hopefully we'll just do like really great and it'll be a good season.
It should be a great competition as Maple Grove continues to soar this season. The Crimson meet Thursday night is at Osseo High School, and you'll be able to see the Maple Grove Champlain Park meet next week here on 12 Sports. In girls hockey, two local teams are near the top of the rankings in their respective classes this week. Maple Grove is rated number 2 behind Edina in the Class AA rankings. Maple Grove's only loss is to Edina. Eden Prairie, Blaine, and Hill Murray round out the top 5. Northwest Suburban Conference teams Elk River and Centennial are in the 6-7 spots. Wayzata is just outside the top 10 at number 11. Breck is number 2 behind Blake in Class A. Those two teams are in the same section at playoff time in Section 5, as are Section 8 teams Warroad and Thief River Falls, who occupy the 3-4 slots in the rankings. So definitely some good teams around the area, and pretty much every sport, and hockey no exception.
All right, should be a good winter. Thanks, Jay. Still ahead, sounds of the season thanks to students at West Lutheran High School.
But first, time for some holiday cheer as we go to break. We found this display of lighting up the night on Hillsborough Avenue in New Hope. Lights are blinking on and off in time with Christmas carols, of course. And we continue to look for impressive displays here in the Northwest Metro. And if you know of one in your neighborhood, send us the address in an email to news@12.tv. Their vocal cords are warmed up and ready for a big night Friday. West Lutheran High School's annual Christmas Band and Choir concert takes place Friday at 7 p.m. The only potential hiccup, of course, is the weather. And stay tuned to the school's website for updates on that. But they sound great. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
And we leave you with more of the West Lutheran Choir. Enjoy.